Last year, the UP government received 2.3 million applications for a government job. The applications were given in by people holding all sorts of degrees, PhDs, MPAs, BTech degrees, and many more, all the degrees you can possibly think of. This prestigious government job was that of a PN. Indian degrees turned out to be absolutely waste because the people who are holding them are unemployable. They lack the basic necessity of innovation, which most employers nowadays are looking for. Since they don't have innovation, they can't be entrepreneurs anyway. Hey there, I'm Manya, and today I'm going to talk about how we can make Indian education more qualitative. So, what do you think is wrong with Indian education system? Exams? What I think is, if you ask any student that's appearing for the board exams this year, they will definitely say that everything is wrong. Just about everything. But we forget that a system can only do what it's made to do. What's wrong with the Indian education system? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's doing exactly what it's made to do. Let us look at a bit of history over here. When the thrill of getting independence died down, the Indians realized that the Britishers had left behind an India filled with unemployed masses. Nearly 72% of the workforce was in the agricultural sector. If India could even dream of competing with other nations in terms of urbanization or industrialization, it had to level out the employment in the agricultural, secondary and tertiary sectors. It had to bring people to more modern jobs and away from agriculture. So, the primary obligation of the newly formed education system at that point of time was to just make the youth employable in the secondary and tertiary sectors. So, over time, people realized that there was enormous scope for certain fields like engineering and medical. And it got stuck in people's minds that only those fields could provide a future for them. Needless to say, this mentality still persists today. The Indian education system is still doing that. It is giving its citizens just the right amount of education that they need to secure a job. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of schools that provide superior quality education and make their students better humans. And their students should be thanking their lucky stars. But they are unfortunately a minority. Times have changed, the country has changed, and the global scenario has changed. If we want India to progress, we need to be changing too. We need to change the purpose of the Indian education system. The modern Indian should not just be a worker. I think we're past that stage. He or she should be an innovator. And to achieve this, we need to change the main objective over here. We need to make the jump from quantitative education to qualitative education. There are many small problems in the way to get this. It all just adds up to make one big hurdle. But small solutions can easily break down that hurdle. One major catalyst to getting qualitative education is inciting students' curiosity. The ability to question and think is what makes humans unique, separates them from all of the organisms on earth. It is what defines their superiority. As Pablo Picasso puts it, computers are absolutely useless. They can only give you answers. The questions you have to come up on yourself. Curiosity is a key survival tactic that could make or break careers in today's cutthroat corporate world. But unfortunately, our current system isn't doing much to encourage it. When a child steps into the school for the first time, her brain is filled with more questions than anyone could ever answer, like anyone ever. But as her student life progresses, she does get those answers, but when she has to rote learn answers which do not have the depth that she wants, just because it doesn't come for the exam, it makes her lose interest. It makes her stop asking questions altogether. If people's beliefs are a deduction they've made after making 100 questions out of one topic, then rather than just believing the media or political parties, they will obviously be more responsible citizens. And like this, we could have that civic sense in India that we so desperately need right now. The ability to make a difference occurs mostly in the way subjects are taught. For example, if a 6th standard student is being taught about Mount Everest, here she will be taught that it's 8,848 meters tall. Since at that point of time she will not have a correct estimate of a meter, it will just be a number to her. It won't actually make sense. She will rote learn it and forget it after the exams are over. But if she is taught that the Mount Everest is as tall as 808 stories building piled one on top of each other, it will incite awe in her. She will be very, she would be taken back. She would want to know more. Similarly, if she is being taught about Akbar, obviously she would have to cram into her head all the facts about all the wars that he won, all the places he occupied, and all the years he won those wars in. But if the emphasis is put on his principles, his school of thought, and what made him great, instead of the years, then it would reduce the burden on the kid's memory substantially. It would also build her personality. This is something that I like to call relatable teaching. And experiments, live models, games, all these also help in this regard. Another thing, recently I saw this incident in which a couple of girls broke the washroom, a tap in a washroom. They didn't say anything, just water was just gushing out, they just giggled to themselves and left. They didn't tell anyone. When the staff in charge of the washroom came to see it, she was horrified. She immediately did everything she could possibly do to get the situation under control. But she was struggling very hard at it, and a couple of onlookers were just looking at her and giggling. I get it. We are all born with a certain level of privilege that prevents us from having to do this kind of work. But can we not even respect the people who do this work? In schools, every student should be forced to clean their own mess. They should be taught to maintain their surroundings. It's not a duty that, it's not a favor that they're doing to someone else. They should be taught that it's their duty that they are supposed to do. This would make them more humble, more grounded, and it would teach them the dignity of labor. Now suppose, let's take up this scenario. I finished my 12th standard, I go abroad to pursue a biotechnology course. Over there, I'm going to meet a lot of students from various nations. In their secondary schooling, they chose exactly the subjects that they need to pursue biotechnology. So while I was studying PCMB, they were studying basic biotechnology. Needless to say, they would always have an edge over me, and I would struggle very hard to keep up with them. Another random fact, the CBSE offers a choice of 67 subjects to 11th and 12th students, like biotechnology, multimedia and web design, fashion technology, and a lot more. This would be really helpful for students who want to pursue them. But most schools do not provide this choice to the students because they would have to employ those teachers. And employing teachers of 67 different subjects would be very costly. This problem could be solved by sharing teachers in one school district. But it is schools are still very hesitant to take up this, to implement this. And it would be really helpful if they did. Another point, students are taught about public interest litigations, PAN cards, Aadhaar cards, bank accounts, organizations in India, a lot of things. But when the student does become an adult and has to file a public interest litigation, he or she will not be able to do so because they've never been taught. They will probably just Google it or approach someone who does know about it. When the concepts are being taught in the school, why shouldn't the workings and how the thing happens be taught too? It's incomplete education. It needs to be done. If we actually implement this, then millennials won't go out into the world thinking that they don't know how to adult. These are very small suggestions, but if these suggestions are successfully implemented, it could become that beautiful change that could transform India and the world as we know it. Thank you.